When you play the Game of Thrones, you win, or you die.
And to find out just that, here is my review on the Game of Thrones. To start off, I'll go with the game's best feature, which is its story. The story and the events are not just a retelling of the books or TV series, and are that of two completely new characters.
Oh shit.
The first character you play as is Mors Westford and his dog, who fought 15 years ago in the rebellion, but afterwards headed to the Wall to take the oath of the Night's Watch. The other character is Alistair Sarwyck, who also fought in the rebellion but afterwards went into self-exile, and is finally returning after 15 years upon hearing about his father's death. The game plays much like the books and the series do, going back and forth between the different points of views to tell each character's story. They also bring in some familiar faces, such as the Lord Commander, Jeor Mormont, the Master of Whispers himself, Varys, and of course the wretched Queen, Cersei. The attention to detail that gets put into the storyline and the characters' backgrounds is very much what you would expect from a Game of Thrones, but due to some bad voice acting,
Good job. I'll take care of him.
some horrible camera angles during some cutscenes, you're sometimes really put out of the mood, and that can kind of be frustrating. You will be able to assign separate stats, abilities, skills, and traits to each character, because they are played pretty differently. Mors is designed to be played as a hard-hitting tank, using mainly a large sword and shield, and Alistair is going to be more like a rogue, where you'll be using daggers and poisons. The combat system is in real time, where you select your target and the party will begin to auto-attack. You then use L2 or R2 to bring up your ability wheel to select specific attacks you want to use for yourself, as well as cycle through the other members of your party. All fighting is pretty much stationary, and moving while fighting is very difficult and not very useful. The camera angles in combat are pretty bad, and accidentally selecting a different target to have your character run off is pretty frustrating. The first couple encounters, you can pretty much do whatever and get by fine. But once there are multiple enemies wearing different types of armor, you may want to be switching up weapons to be more effective, which is cool and all, but gets annoying pretty quick. Although you will accumulate a decent number of abilities throughout the game, you end up finding yourself in a set attack pattern of stunning, making them bleed, stab the bleeding wound, or stun, poison, sneak attack, and rinse and repeat. The game attempts to end some fights with an epic finish, but it tends to be the same cutscene over and over, and because the graphics are bad, it really just doesn't do it justice. While you're playing as Mors, you can switch over to control the dog and track certain scents to find hidden items, and you will actually need to use this to follow certain people for the story. But, once again, the game's bad graphics make it pretty hard to even keep track of the poorly displayed scent. While traveling around, trying to navigate can be very frustrating, due to the very indescriptive minimap you may be trying to use that only shows up symbols and a direction in which your quest is. Although it's a personal preference to be able to lock it in place, not being able to do so really bothered me. Even the large version of the map from your main menu isn't very helpful or detailed. And in many cases throughout the game, just trying to interact with people or pick up items off of the ground can take several tries for it to actually work. So what kind of grade does the Game of Thrones get? With an outstanding storyline, a mediocre combat system, bad graphics, voice acting, little to no gameplay, and bad NPC and environment interaction, the Game of Thrones gets a 3 out of 10. Even though the game is really bad, there's still those die-hard Game of Thrones fans that may want to pick this game up just to experience the new story and lore that you'll learn from it. Well, thanks for watching, and to be sure not to miss out on any of our future videos, contests, and more, Click the link to subscribe and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter.